Hi, hello, I'm Terrence Stellinger at Dark Carnival 2010. I'm here with Tiffany Shepis.
Hey, what's up?
Tiffany, you were here last night for the screening of the Frankenstein Syndrome.
Yes, the Frankenstein Syndrome, and it was awesome. We had a really packed house in there. People seemed to really dig it. And I won Best Actress, and Scott Lee won Best Actor for it. So we're walking away from here very, very pleased with the outcome.
Now this is at least your second trip to Dark Carnival.
My third.
Third. Okay.
Yes, I love Dark Carnival. I love everyone here. I think it's a phenomenal film festival with a wide variety of films to choose from. You know, you have international ones, you have some straight ones, you have some comedies, you have really crazy, over-the-top, gory ones. You know, you have stuff like the Frankenstein Syndrome. That's kind of a thinky horror movie. So. And I think that's pretty cool because you go to a lot of these film festivals and it's very much one tone, you know, throughout the whole thing. And
well, what are some of the differences you've noticed between like your first year?
Yeah.
So what are some of the differences you've noticed between your first year here and this year?
Well, it's huge. It's a huge difference. I mean, the obvious amount of people we have in the seats here is a sure indication that people are enjoying the festival and it's getting really good word of mouth because, you know, it's tripled since the first year I came. You know, it started out where it used to be just kind of the people running it and their friends, you know, a handful of them would trickle in and out, and now there's actual people coming in, buying tickets, sitting in the seats and enjoying the movies. And vendors even. I mean, you know, there's a plethora of vendors here. I mean, you can get all types of things from fangs to caricatures to really awesome autographs and books from Joe Bob Briggs. I mean, it's a pretty nifty event. So I would highly recommend coming to Dark Carnival.
Now, has this become like part of your yearly, you know?
Absolutely. If they ask me back, they know I'm kind of a staple with them. So. I will turn most things down as far as certainly any convention or film festival to come to this for them. They're definitely fan favorites, like really know how to keep people in their seats in between movies and make it not just kind of a mundane day of just film, you know, like it's kind of a variety show. It's an event.
Now, I understand if you don't want to answer this one on the record, but which one of the Atomic Age guys gets you to laugh the most?
You know, it's kind of funny because they are perfect as a collaborative group. You know, they all play so perfectly off of one another. Like, I mean, like without Basement Boy kind of being the straight guy and the one they pick on, like the whole thing doesn't work. So. Just because one's more outspoken than the other, they all have to be together, to me, to make the whole thing work and gel perfectly. So I will not pick one.
Now, did you see the Face of Muscle Wolf skit last night?
I did.
And I was watching the movie last night, and it's really good.
Thank you.
And inspired by Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. I guess
sure.
Where the title comes from. So what was it like on the set?
It was awesome. I mean, we had such a good group of actors that nothing could go wrong when you have everybody that's just kind of bringing everything they have to the table and killing it full force, you know. And Sean's a pretty phenomenal director in the sense that you never walk on set and he doesn't know what's going on. He doesn't question what comes next in the scene or what comes next here. Like, he knows his material inside and out, which, I mean, makes sense when you write it, but this doesn't always work out that way. I've walked onto jobs where the director doesn't know what's going on. They have to refer to the AD and they have to go to the production manager and script supervisor. It's like he knew everything. So it was quite smooth.
Were there any moments of weirdness working with your husband? Or?
Well, he wasn't my husband then. We didn't even date then. So no.
So an on-set romance.
Not even. It was after we finished the movie that I realized he actually had somewhat of a personality. When he works, he's very about work, and I was like, wow, that guy's boring. Yeah.
Now, I guess it's not really a spoiler, seeing as how the second scene of the movie shows the aftermath, but you kind of have like a Tom Cruise and Vanilla Sky mask on the whole time.
I do.
Now, did you have the scarred makeup on underneath during all those scenes?
Oh God, no. That scarred makeup took hours and hours and hours and hours. And what's really funny, that originally wasn't in our first shooting of the movie. Like, it wasn't in the first draft, and Sean decided he needed to go back and kind of add something in and break the story up. And so it was kind of all an afterthought. So we shot that actually like 3 months later, all the stuff of me at the house with the mask and the detectives. So it's kind of interesting, but no, God no, that makeup took about 5 hours to put on. It was really awfully uncomfortable, and I couldn't see out of it, so no.
So as few shots as possible.
A few shots as possible. The shot where I reveal, and that's it.
So seeing how everything in the house was sort of an afterthought, was the movie just supposed to end with, you know, like what was the fate of your character in the original before you went?
The cell. Basically, it would be the last shot of the movie was me in the cell getting pulled away, screaming, you know, that whole deal, and kind of end like that. Left to figure out what went on, you know, and then. And which I thought was quite cool as well. I mean, because you could go, well, shit, you know, did he experiment on her? You know, you kind of leave it open. But I like the cut that we have now. I think it's pretty phenomenal. And I think if the audience reaction last night is any indication, I think a lot of people will enjoy it as well. So.
Now, I did kind of have a thought, like the final bit where, you know, David is, you know, running around and his face is all bloodied and all that. It kind of reminded me a little bit of Rutger Hauer at the end of Blade Runner. It's sort of a Roy Batty, especially when he was like doing the, you know, Hippocratic Oath.
Yeah, you're right, actually.
I was like, God, this feels like I'm watching Roy Batty, you know, pin Harrison Ford on the ceiling.
Awesome. It's a cool movie to be compared to for that scene alone.
Like, how long was the shoot itself?
I think we had 19 days of principal photography, and then we went back to do those reshoots and some extra additional stuff at the hospital, maybe about 5 extra days. So.
Now, was this like an abandoned hospital? Was this just one?
No, it's strange. It's the Phoenix Memorial Hospital, but what it's predominantly used for is like a trauma center, because they have like helicopter pads and stuff like that. So if somebody got like gunshot wounds or something major, they would be brought there. And inmates. It's an inmate hospital. So on 3 floors above us, like, we'd see them like come out, get brought out for their smoke breaks, and they're shackled, and it's really kind of creepy with big armed guards. And
so was the fact it was an active hospital part of the reason why you only had 19 days of principal photography?
No, you have 19 days because you don't have enough money to shoot any more than that.
Good point.
And that was even stretching it. It really should have been a 15-day shoot. But no, the 2 floors that we were on were not working. They were not operating hospitals. So we at least had that.
So the hospital itself was active, but the floors
that we were on were not. Yeah. It's interesting though. Definitely creepy moments walking through there, and not knowing who's on the floor above you and why they're there and who did they kill.
So they're kind of two rampage scenes, as it were. The first person you bring back, and then David. Which one kind of freaked you out filming the most?
Well, I think Kima did a really great job. The Zena is her name, the actress, the Japanese girl, and I thought she did an amazing job with what she had. I mean, even the scene where she hasn't been reanimated yet, where they're doing the gynecological, you know, getting her eggs. For women, that is just an awful, just disgusting, like putting your balls in a vice, kind of. And I thought she did a very good job with that, and just seeing her and vomiting up the black stuff was quite disgusting and disturbing to me.
What was that black stuff made of?
I don't know, actually. I would imagine some type of food color.
So there were a lot of familiar faces in that movie. A lot of people where it's like, you're watching movies like, oh, it's that guy.
Yeah, Ed Lauder is pretty much the king of that. Everyone knows Ed Lauder's face. And Louis Mandylor, My Big Fat Greek Wedding, and, you know, tons and tons and tons of other indie things.
He was a bit of a badass in this one.
He was a very badass in this one. I think he did a phenomenal job in our movie. Phenomenal. And, you know, the character was certainly written that way by Sean. but Louis brought so much to the table with just the way he portrayed his character and just being this kind of crazy maniac, but that kept his cool, you know?
Now, just out of curiosity, what was it written that way, or did it just kind of happen with the actors who were cast? Were the guards always Irish? I found it interesting. Every guard was Irish.
Yeah, that was odd because Brogan, Scott Leet, who won the award last night for Best Actor, who played David, wanted to be Irish, I believe. I'm looking at my husband to see if that's correct. I think he wanted to have an accent. And then the other guy actually is. And that just happened to work out. So it might be a director interview. You want to ask that question too?
I mean, it does work because, you know, part of the thing is like he's learning French when he's reanimated, so he drops the accent.
Drops the accent. It definitely works to have like this, whoa, there's something totally new about him.
So what... like on the scale of stories that kind of creep you out, because I'm always curious. It's like, do horror movie actors and actresses ever get creeped out by the movies they're in? Where does Frankenstein Syndrome fall? Like,
I think it would certainly be one of the top because it's so real. I mean, we're doing all type. I mean, it's kind of that day age question is just because we can do it doesn't mean we should. Like, you know, women really shouldn't be having 15 fucking babies at once. You know, the Octomom, that's freakish, weird, bizarre nature stuff that I don't think we should really be messing with, you know, and cloning people, that's crazy. One day it's gonna backfire and go wrong, and so I think that's why the Frankenstein Syndrome is certainly creepier than the maniac in the woods or, you know, the supernatural thing that comes back to life, because this stuff happens. You know, I had a friend that went to Mexico to get stem cell research done, and it's a creepy deal, you know? I mean, certainly it's saving lives, but when is it too much? Like, you know, Jonathan, gosh, I forget his character name in the movie, but he says, he's like, it's enough, like, you're done playing God, you know, these people need to die, it's the evolution of life, you know? And I think that's what's creepy about it, is like, when is it going to be enough for us?
Now, with the version that was shown last night, your character is made to seem sympathetic.
Bless you.
Before you filmed the wraparound story, being deposed by the FBI, did you kind of feel that she was a sympathetic character?
Yes and no. I mean, because you got, she wants the serum. She wants to have this done. And so she kind of is the spearhead of the project, but then Victoria takes over, and obviously she's a bit touched. So I think inevitably then she did become the sympathetic character, you know, because she didn't want to be there anymore. She didn't want to do this, you know. It was taking it a step too far. So I felt you could feel sympathy for her. You know, they were there for the cause of good, not to hurt anybody, not to, you know, certainly not kill anyone and just bring them back to life just because, you know. And I don't think Elizabeth would have gone there knowing there were, you know, illegals and runaways, you know, being trapped there in order to give their eggs. So. Dark Carnival 2010 and 2009 and 2008. Been here every year. I'll be back next year. Come to the show.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.